In America, in the early 1900s, there was a man born called Robert May. And Robert May, well, he was a very small boy when he was in school. And he was always teased and tormented because he was so much smaller than all his friends, and all he wanted to be was the same size. But Robert May grew up, and eventually he got married, and he and his wife had a baby, a little girl. They called her Barbara. And he worked in a lot of different places, but he was a copywriter. And things were going really well until his wife developed a really serious illness. And eventually she was bedridden, and all his money had to be spent on medical care and prescriptions and medicines. He had very little left for his daughter and looking after the house and things. And one time before Christmas, his daughter, who was about 3 or 4, climbed onto his knee and said, Daddy, why isn't my mummy like any other mummy? And it took Robert back to his childhood, when all he'd wanted to be was the same size as his friends so that they didn't tease him and torment him. And he thought, well, what can I do? He started telling her a story. And he told her a bit of the story every night. And she loved this story. Daddy, more of the story. She loved it. And I've got no money to buy her Christmas presents, really. But he was a good designer. And he wrote it up as a poem with decorations and made it as a little book, put it under the tiny Christmas tree for her for Christmas. And she loved it. And he took his poem to a party at the works, and he read it to some colleagues who laughed to start with, but then were silent and thought it was very good. And so, after Christmas, after New Year, when they went back to work, his boss called him in and said, Robert, we'd like to publish your story, your poem. We'd like to publish it as a book that we'll give to all the children who come into the store next year to buy Christmas gifts. And so now he had some money because he was being paid royalties for his book. And his wife died, but at least now he could provide a home for his daughter. And so life went on. And the book was eventually published and given away to all of the children. And finally, his brother-in-law, Johnny Marks, who was a songwriter, took the poem and turned it into a song. And he offered it to people, but Bing Crosby turned it down. But eventually it was made into a song by Gene Autry, the cowboy, the wandering cowboy?
Singing.
The wandering cowboy singing, yes. It was turned into a song. And it became very popular, and it became worldwide, and it is a song which everybody knows.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names. They wouldn't let poor Rudolph join in any Rudolph games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? All of the other reindeers fell out and cheered with glee. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. And he has.